Welcome back to Elder Wolf MTG, everybody. We're going to be opening some packs today. I'm trying to get some more wild cards for some constructed decks on the side, and I've been getting some winnings. So let's open the packs and see what we can open. We'll talk about the rares and a limited context. So let's see what our gold pack is. So first one is O'Hare Talk, the Deepest Foundation. Very good card, 6 mana, 6/6 vigilance, and if one or more creature tokens would be created under your control, 3 times that many of tokens are created instead, and when it dies, you return it to the battlefield transformed as a land, and then you can transform it back if you've attacked with 3 or more creatures as a sorcery. So basically, most of the time it can continue to come back, of course, unless it's exiled or something along those lines. Yeah, very good card. This was in Ixalan or Lost Caverns of Ixalan. In Limited, it's interesting because if the set doesn't have a ton of token creation, then it might not be worthy of a pick, even though this is an incredibly powerful effect. It's still a 6/6 Vigilance body that can keep coming back. But keep in mind in Limited, especially depending on the format, if it's a double white pip at the top, which kind of puts you into white pretty hard. But yeah, it's a super powerful effect, so probably first pickable. I didn't actually do any Limited in Ixalan, so I'm not quite sure the mana fixing or the number of token generating cards that were in that set overall, but probably first pickable. Let's look at another mythic. Okay, we got one from Dragonstorm, Taval, the Sultai Dragon, this 5 mana 6/6 flying lifelink. And spells you cast have Delve. So Delve is each card you exile from your graveyard while casting the spell pays for a colorless. So Sultai wants to put a lot of cards in the graveyard through Surveil and discard mechanics. And so this presumably is kind of a, I guess, mana ramper in a sense for casting spells. And then whenever you cast a spell, you lose life equal to its mana value. So that's where the lifelink on Taval comes into play. But definitely first pickable, incredibly just valuable in terms of what it can do. And if you get the right Sultai deck, this is going to pop off pretty strong. So definitely a first pickable card for there. Eshki Dragonclaw Teamer Colors. So 4 mana 4/4 Vigilance Trample Ward 1. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you cast both a creature spell and a non-creature spell this turn, you draw a card and you put 2 counters on this creature. This is really nice for Harmonize, which is where you have the cards in your graveyard and you can cast it again in your graveyard. So that's really where this wants to live because that's what Teamer does. So yeah, very first pickable. It does lock you into Teamer, but again, in Dragonstorm, there's a ton of mana fixing. So from that perspective, it's not as disadvantageous to go into multiple colors right out of the gate. And of course, you can pivot to different colors like Jeskai and splash this for green and such. As well. It's pretty easy to do that in Dragonstorm. But yeah, definitely a first pickable card. Corey Steelcutter, yeah, absolutely first pickable. This is for aggro, and it's incredible. 2 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets 1/1 and has trample haste. And when you cast your second spell each turn, you create a 1/1 monk creature token with prowess, and you may attach this equipment to it. So basically, if you can cast 2 spells a turn, then you create tokens via this equipment, and then you can equip it immediately, and those tokens have prowess, which wants to live in Jeskai, which has a lot of non-creature spells. So definitely first pickable for aggro. Incredible card in standard right now. Almost all mono red aggro decks run this, as well as a lot of Boros aggro decks, and even I've seen a lot of red blue aggro decks as well. Everflowing Well, this is a 3 mana artifact. When it enters, you mill 2 and draw 2, and then if you have 8 or more permanents in your graveyard, you transform it to a land that whenever you cast a permanent spell using mana produced by the land, up to 1 other target permanent you control becomes a copy of that spell until end of turn. This is more constructed. I don't think I would pick this in a limited set or a limited event. It's just too specific for copying specific spells. I mean, you can use it well in limited, but I don't think you want to build around this as much. You would probably pass on this, and if you have a nice blue deck where this could synergize later, you could use it for sure, but I wouldn't first pick that one. And then the Foundation set, Runescar Demon, 7 mana, 6/6 flyer, and when it enters, you search your library for a card, so it's a tutor effect. In limited, super powerful, great stats. It is expensive. Don't know about first pickable because of how expensive it is, and it's double black, but it is a very powerful effect, so keep that in mind overall. Okay, so that's our gold pack. Let's open some Dragonstorm packs. See what we have. Let's see, this is the turtle. 5 mana, 5/9, Ward 2, and whenever this creature attacks, put 3 stun counters on it, draw 3, and then whenever you cast a turtle, you untap it. There are some turtles in the set. It's hard and limited to build around that, but great body. And then whenever you attack with it, it's probably not going to die. I mean, if you have a huge board on the opposite side, obviously they can block a lot and do that. But you can basically attack with it to draw 3 cards whenever you need to. And it's pretty hard to remove. So I like this card quite a bit. In limited, it's not as good as like constructed, but I think it's still first pickable. It's a fun card, but I wouldn't fault anyone from passing on it either. So it's kind of in the middle. Yeah, lots of actually good uncommon cards in here for this pack. Okay, next pack. The All-Out Assault. In limited, this one is a bomb. 5 mana enchantment, and creatures you control get +1/+1 and half death touch, and when it enters, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase, followed by an additional main phase, so you get 2 combat phases when you cast it before your combat, and then on that very next attack, you untap each creature you control, so if you want to have them for vigilant or for blocking later, you can, because they always have death touch. If you have any kind of board state, and usually with Mardu colors, you will have a board state, then it's going to get ridiculous real fast, especially with Mobilize, because they don't sacrifice until the end of your turn, not the end of combat. So they can attack again, and you can Mobilize again. Really busted card for limited. Pick this one immediately and just force Mardu. That's what you want to do when you see that card. Haven't lost to it or actually gone against it, but did some paper magic with some friends, and one of them had it, and it was, yeah, it did what it needed to do. Avenger of the Fallen, 3 mana, 2/4 death touch, Mobilize X, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. I mean, this wants to be in Mardu for sure, but you could put it in Sultai as well because of the number of creature cards in your graveyard. But it's a nice stat line. 2/4 death touch for 3 is really nice and limited. I think this is very first pickable, but you want to be in Mardu typically with this, but you could also do this with Sultai as well, but that's where it wants to live. I would definitely pick that one first. Super nice card. There's Eshki again. All right, got 2 of those now. We already talked about Eshki, so let's move along. Land, the Great Erishan City. It's the enters tapped unless you control a forest or plains. So this wants to be the Abzan colors, and then you can pay 2 and tap it to exile a creature card from your graveyard to create tokens. Yeah, good value card for sure, and not really good fixing at all, but it is a good value card. If you're an Abzan, not even an Abzan, Mardu, you could do this as well. So, I mean, it's a good card. Not first pickable, I wouldn't think, because if it fixed, maybe, but it doesn't fix. It just has a cool effect on there that where you can basically get value out of creature cards in your graveyard over time. Yeah, if you're in black of any sort, you want to put this later in your deck probably, especially if you're in Abzan. But, yeah, not a first pick. Sinkhole Surveyor. This is the 2 mana 1/3 flyer, and whenever it attacks, you lose a life, and this creature endures 1. So endure means that you can either put a counter on it, or you create a 1/1 white spirit creature token. What's crazy about this card, if it comes out on turn, like if say you're on the play, and you come down on turn 2 with this card, and your opponent does not have an answer for it, this on its own could eventually become a 2/4 a 3/5, a 4/6 flyer, and at that point, they have to just have straight up removal, and it can single-handedly win you the game. I really like this card. Amazing value for what you get. I would pick it first, for sure. It's such a good card, especially in either Abzan or in Mardu. It's an incredible card, so I would definitely pick that one first. Roar of Endless Song. In Limited, this is a bomb. You need to pick this first. This is the Saga. The first time it comes down, you get a 5/5 Elephant token. The second time in your next turn, you get a 5/5 token. And then the next time on the third step, you get double power and toughness of each creature. Assuming none of your tokens have died, you get 2 10/10s on that turn, and whatever else you have on the board. Yeah, it's a bomb. It's ridiculous. Definitely pick this up. It's a fun one as well to play with. I would definitely pick that up and force Teamer in a heartbeat. Thunder of Unity. This is the Saga on Mardu colors. You draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. And then the next 2, whenever a creature you control enters this turn, each opponent loses 1 and you gain 1. So that definitely wants to be with Mobilize, where you're generating lots of tokens when you attack, and you just get such good value. Love this card. Such good synergy with what Mardu wants to do. So yeah, if you want to force Mardu, yeah, and you see this first, like, go for it. It's a great card to enable your Mardu. You're looking for mobilized creatures like crazy after that, which is pretty much all the Mardu colors. So yeah, like you want Reigning Victors and things like that, just to go forward with that. Yeah, super good card. Another Roar of Endless Song. All right, well, we will take another one. How about that? So we'll go on to the next one. So we got a mythic this time. Rutkurse Rakshasha. We've seen this before. 2 mana 5/5 trample demon that has Decayed. Decayed is a creature with Decayed can't block, and when it attacks, you sacrifice it at the end of combat. So it can't block, but when it goes into your graveyard, you can pay double swamp plus X, and you exile this card from your graveyard and then put a Decayed counter on each of X target creatures. So basically that means that your opponent's creatures, if you put it all on their creatures, they can't block anymore. That's incredibly powerful. And then if they do attack with them, they have to sacrifice it at the end of combat. So really good. And then constructed, this is an amazing enabler for the Unholy Vessel room from Duskmourn, where it's a 2 mana demon that pops down pretty quick, and you have like a 5/5 trampler sitting there that enables that. Very good card in Limited. It's good. I don't know if it's first pickable. I mean, it is. It's just not necessarily overwhelmingly amazing. But if you had like Mardu, and you had a lot of mobilized cards, and then this was in your graveyard, and then you did the renew for, let's say, 4 or 5, so 6 or 7 mana, then all these creatures on your opponent can't block that turn, and you swing in. Yeah, then, of course, if they swing back, they have to sacrifice it after combat. I mean, it's very versatile. So, yeah, as I talk it out, you could first pick it for sure. You just obviously want to be in the right deck for it. Songcrafter Mage. Teamer, 3 mana, 3/2 flash, and when it enters target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard, game's harmonized until the end of turn, and its harmonized cost is equal to its mana cost. So if you have enough mana up, this can be incredible. It comes out of nowhere. It's just you have to have the mana to pay for it, but that's where harmonized comes into place, because all the colorless, in theory, can be spent by tapping down a creature, which you can tap this one down by 3 colorless because it's 3 power itself. So with that, if you had like 5 mana or 6 mana, you should be able to cast most things in your graveyard again. So super powerful with that. Especially if you have an instant, you can block with this and then pay harmonize with it and then go to town. Cool. All right, let's go to the next one. Two rares. All right. Inevitable Defeat. The instant for Mardu for 4 mana. This spell can't be countered, and exile target non-land permanent. Its controller loses 3, gain 3. Very, very good removal spell, especially against Jeskai wants to have the Dispelling Excel counters. I mean, it is first pickable. It's not as powerful as, like, as it's a one-time use, but it is an incredible removal spell. It's any non-land permanent, which is impressive, and then you have the nice kind of 6 life swing along with it. It's first pickable. It's not an amazing first pick per se, but because it forces you Mardu with only one instance. But I mean, if I was in this pack, yeah, sure, absolutely. But it's good. Ruin is Ultimatum. Much more difficult to play this in limited because it is so specific on the mana cost, even for Mardu colors. Having 2/3/2 of the color set is crazy, but if you cast it, you're probably going to win the game. So if you're already in Mardu and you have some pretty good fixing where you have a lot of the option, you know, lands, dual lands, the triple lands, then I mean, go for it, because if you cast it, you're probably going to win the game. Other than that, if you don't have the right mana fixing, this is not really depickable at all. The Lotus Light Dancers, the Sultai 5 mana 3/6 lifelinkers, and when it enters, you search your library for a black, a green, and a blue, and put those cards into your graveyard. So great fueler of your graveyard. Effects like Harmonize, Renew, those things are great. So it basically can put effects. It can kind of be like a draw 3, actually, if you have the right deck. Very first pickable. Really, you want to find the Renew and Harmonize effects pretty quickly with this one, because you can build around it and basically put those value cards into your graveyard, and then you have even more spells and interaction you can do. I really, really like this card. It really empowers up the Sultai very, very nicely. It's a good body too. 6 toughness is nothing to joke about, and the lifelink is very, very relevant. Really like this card a lot. Scavenger Regent. Yeah, pick this up immediately. Amazing card. Probably should have been a mythic in my opinion. It's got a sweeper on its sorcery omen side where each non-dragon, that is relevant in limited because your opponents will have some dragons. Just keep that in mind, but it's each non-dragon creature gets -X. And you can draw it again because it has omen. And itself, it's a 4/4 flyer for 4, and the ward is discard a card. It's really hard to remove. It's a 2-for-1 to remove it. And yeah, super good card. Instantly pick this one up. It's only a 1 swamp as well. So, I mean, the sorcery is 2 swamps, but it's such a good card. Go ahead and pick that one up for sure. Sarkhan, Dragon Ascendant, 2 mana 2/2. When he enters, you may behold a dragon. If you do, you create a treasure. And whenever a dragon you control enters, put a counter on Sarkhan. Until end of turn, Sarkhan becomes a dragon in addition to other types and gains flight. I mean, it wants to live in a deck that has a lot of dragons. It is a 2 mana 2/2. So it's a cheap creature that has a lot of upside, but you really want dragons, clearly, with Sarkhan. And there's a lot of dragons in the set. So is it first pickable? I mean, sure. It's just not an amazing first pick. If there's nothing else, I would pick hard removal, I think, over Sarkhan. But if you can take it and then you're kind of really looking for those dragons, right? There is a dragon deck with the Dragonstorm globes in this set, where you just basically get a bunch of Dragonstorm globes and as many dragons of any color as you can. If you're doing that deck, then this card is even better. So yeah, if you're doing that deck, I mean, get Sarkhan and go for it, you know, but just in itself, you need some dragons to enable Sarkhan itself. All right, next pack here. Tursa Light Shatter, the 3 mana 3/3 Haster Orc Wizard, and when Tursa enters, discard up to 2 and then draw that many cards. And whenever Tursa attacks, if there are 7 or more in your graveyard, exile a card at random from your graveyard, and you may play that card this turn. Super good value. Really allows you to fill up your graveyard. This could be for Harmonize effects. It could be for Renew effects. There's a lot of versatility with this one. I like this one a lot. Even if you're not an aggro deck, this can be amazing value for what you get. So I would pick this one up. It wants to probably be more of an aggro deck, Mardu style, Boros style, but really, really good. This is also seeing tons of play in Standard right now. In many, many different decks. Yeah, definitely pick that one up. You will be happy that you did. Severance Priest, the Abzan 3/3 Death Toucher, and when it enters, target opponent reveals their hand. You can choose a non-land card from it. If you do, you exile it, and when this creature leaves the battlefield, the exiled card's owner creates an XX White Spirit token, where X is the mana value. So let's say that you exile like a 6 mana cost card that's a bomb. They would still get a 6/6 when the Severance Priest leaves, but if that card is a bomb, maybe a 6/6 isn't as big a threat to deal with, right? So, and of course, if it's even less mana value, it's even less of a deal. So you can have like a super powerful card at 3, 4, 5 mana that you can basically get rid of, and even if your priest goes down, it has Death Touch, so it's probably going to trade for something. So this is in and of itself kind of like a 2-for-1 just on its own, a little bit. So I like this. It does lock you into Abzan, so keep that in mind if you first pick it. But if you're already in Abzan and you see this, you're super happy. Really, really, really good card to have for the Abzan colors. New Way Forward. The Jeskai 5 mana instant spell, and the next time a source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, you prevent it. And when damage is prevented this way, this spell deals that much damage to its source controller, and you draw that many cards. Just an instant flip, basically. If you hold this up and they swing with the 6 power, 7 power, 8 power creature, and then you can basically prevent that damage and flip it right back on your opponent, and then you draw that many cards. It's such a powerful effect. It's such a fun effect too. I would pick this first just because of the upside. It's such a turn the tide type of card. It flips it on your opponent so well. I would definitely pick this one. Lots of fun to play there. You obviously want to focus on Jeskai colors for going forward. You could splash that in Mardu super easily as well. All right, we'll take a wild card. Felithar, the Abzan 3/3 Trampler. When it enters or attacks, you may sacrifice a non-land permanent. And when you do, you put a counter on each creature you control. So this wants to live where you're getting like 1/1 tokens and things so that you can buff everything else on your board. Yeah, very powerful effect in the right. You want a lot of the endure to create the tokens so that you can sacrifice them to make everything bigger is what you want. So if you pick this first, obviously you want to go into Abzan or try to look at Abzan pretty specifically. Could splash in Sultai as well. You can just take it as a value card. It's super good. I mean, it's not a mega bomb in and of itself per se. You need the right board state for it to really swing up. But if you have the right board state, this can get the board state just overwhelming your opponent pretty quickly. So yeah, really good card. Lots of good rares in Dragonstorm. Looks like we have another mythic wild card. I will take it. And Sage of the Skies. We've seen this one before. 3 mana, 2/3 flyer, lifelink. And when you cast it, if you've cast another spell this turn, you copy it. So you get 2 2/3 flying lifelinkers for 3 mana. Obviously, you have to have another spell that you've cast before it. So, but it is very good. I really like this card. It plays well in Jeskai and even in Mardu colors because it's only a single white. So I would absolutely pick this up, and it's actually easily splashable in other color sets as well because it's only a plains. If you got it's just a good value card, not a bomb, but a good value card for sure. I would like to pick that first. It's very versatile. All right, Glacierwood Siege. I saw one of the streamers that I watched do an actual limited mill deck, and they actually got 2 of these. It was pretty crazy. They didn't go 7 wins or anything. They went 3 wins, but it was pretty fun to watch, where you cast an instant or sorcery spell with the teamer effect and you target player mills 4, or the Sultai effect is you may play lands from your graveyard. So if you can fill your graveyard as Sultai, then you're just getting value by playing more lands. Good card, kind of a meme card in limited with the teamer effect, because with one of them you can mill somebody out, but it's hard. And then yeah, It's good, not great. I don't know if I would pick this first. It's something that if you're in these two colors already and you see it later, if it works well with your hand, it could be a great enhancer, but I probably wouldn't pick this first unless you're just trying to force the fun deck of milling your opponent out. One of the other sieges, Frostcliff Siege, 3 mana, and you choose Jeskai or Teamer. The Jeskai effect is whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you draw a card. Notice that's just a single card. Like if you have 7 tokens that hit your opponent for 7 damage, you still only get 1 card, not 7 cards, but it's still a powerful effect. Only 1 creature has to get through. And the Teamer side is creatures you control get +1 power and have trample and haste. Both of those effects together is pretty powerful, and then the +1 power helps obviously on several levels. Very good card. Very versatile card. I would go ahead. It goes in obviously Teamer and Jeskai the best. You could even splash it potentially in other effects, but super good card. I like the Sieges a lot. They're very, very nice. All right, last Dragonstorm pack, and then we just got a few more random packs after that. And we got the Village for the green, which is you can pay 4 mana and tap it to Surveil 2. It wants to live in the Sultai deck. Clearly, good value. If you're in Sultai and you see this like second or third pack, sure, pick it up. But I don't think this is first pickable. Let's go a couple of Aether Drift cards. The Regal Imperiosaur, 3 mana, 5/4, and it's a Dinosaur Lord. Pretty ridiculous. Definitely first pickable. It is 2 green, but wow, that's just a 3 mana 5/4 in and of itself. It's crazy. I like those type of effects, but yeah, got a Dinosaur Lord there. Lifecraft Engine, the 3 mana artifact vehicle. When it enters, you choose a creature type, vehicle creatures you control, or the chosen creature type in addition to the other types, and each creature you control, the chosen type other than this vehicle gets +1/+1. Super versatile in this set. I would definitely pick it up. Very nice to have that set. And Rise of the Dragon Caller for Foundation. 6 mana enchantment. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you create a 5/5 red dragon. In limited, it can be good. It's difficult because it's a high mana cost, and when you play an enchantment like this, it doesn't do anything to the board on that turn unless you have extra mana and extra spells that are like 1 or 2 mana cost, which is possible. So you really want to have ramp a little bit to get to something like this, but this card in and of itself doesn't change the game immediately. Just be aware of that. It is super powerful. If you have it, it stays on the battlefield and you have several instants and sorceries around it. It's just not going to be very consistent and limited just because of the nature of this. You can build around it, but just know if this is your only win condition, that's a very low percentage chance, but it is a very powerful effect. There is some standard decks running this to get dragons out with using the instants and sorceries, and there's actually no other dragons in their deck. It's just instants and sorceries and getting this on the battlefield as fast as possible, but you can't really do that well in limited, so I would caution against taking this pack 1 pick 1, but it is very powerful if you can get it to work. Okay, last pack. Let's see what we have in Duskmourn. The split up, 3 mana sorcery. You can either destroy all tapped or untapped creatures. Situationally amazing, but sometimes those situations don't present itself. It's hard for me to justify picking this pack 1 pick 1 because those situations could actually work against you depending on the game state. If you're in white already and you have a good white deck, then I would say pick this up later, but it's really hard for me to pick this pack 1 pick 1, but some people would completely disagree with me. They think the option of having a potential board wipe or board reset in a way for such a cheap cost is worth the dice roll in that. That's up to you to decide, but I wouldn't fault anyone, I guess, for taking it first, but it's double white and it's situationally relevant instead of just always like a board wipe. Anyway, okay, I think that's all of our packs. Thanks y'all for watching. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. That helps me out, and we will come back with some more content in the very near future. Until then.